The Arcadian people of Canada, commonly referred as Acadiens, have a rich and complex history. Their stories intertwine with the broader history of European colonization in North America, the geopolitical struggles of the time, and their unique cultural development. Here is a detailed overview of their history. In 1604, the history of the Acadiens begins with the establishment of the French colony of Acadia in the early 17th century. French explorers Pierre Dugas, Sieur de Monts, and Samuel de Champlain established the first permanent settlement on St. Croix Island, located on the border between present day Maine and New Brunswick. In 1605, the settlement moved to Port Royal, now Annapolis Royal, Nova Scotia, due to the harsh conditions on St. Croix Island. This marked the beginning of a permanent French settlement in the region. In the 17th century, the Acadian population grew slowly but steadily. They developed a unique way of life, heavily influenced by their environment. The Acadiens were known for their agricultural expertise, particularly in reclaiming tidal marshal lands using a system of dikes and sluices. In 1713, the Treaty of Utrecht ceded Acadia to the British, but the Acadians remained largely neutral, refusing to take sides in the ongoing conflicts between the British and the French. Despite their neutrality, they were seen as a potential threat by the British. In 1755, the British began the Grand Dérangement, or the Great Expulsion. The Acadiens were forcibly removed from their lands, their homes were burned, and many were deported to various locations throughout the British colonies, including the 13 colonies, the Caribbean, and Europe. This event had devastating impact on the Acadian population. In 1764, after the Treaty of Paris, some Acadians were allowed to return to Nova Scotia and other parts of the maritime provinces, but they were not given back their original lands. Many settled in New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and other areas. In the late 18th century, 19th centuries, despite the hardship of they faced, the Acadiens managed to preserve their language, culture, and traditions. They formed tight-knit communities and maintained their distinct identity. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the Acadian culture experienced a revival. The establishment of the Acadian schools, cultural organizations, and institutions helped preserve and promote their heritage. The 20th century saw an increased recognition of Acadian contributions to Canadian society. Today, Acadians are an integral part of Canadian culture mosaic. They primarily reside in the maritime provinces, with a significant population in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. The Acadian World Congress, held every 5 years, is a major cultural event that celebrates Acadian heritage. The Acadians speak a distinct dialect of French known as Acadien French. Acadian music is a vibrant part of their culture, characterized by traditional folk songs, fiddling, and more contemporary styles. Acadian cuisine includes dishes such as poutine râpée, potato dumplings, fricot, a type of stew, and various seafood dishes. The Acadian people of Canada have a rich history marked by resilience and a strong sense of community. Despite the challenges they face, they were managed to preserve their unique cultural identity and continue to contribute to the diverse tapestry of Canadian society.
The 1755 deportation of the Acadians, known as the Grand Dérangement, was a significant and tragic event in North American history. It involved the forcible removal of the Acadian population by the British from the Canadian maritime provinces, primarily the present day Nova Scotia. Here's a brief but detailed account of the events leading up to, during, and following the deportation. The Treaty of Utrecht in 1713. This treaty ended the War of the Spanish Succession and resulted in the secession of Acadia from France to Britain. The British took control of the territory but faced challenges in asserting their authority over the French speaking Catholic Acadians. The Acadians also adopted a position of neutrality, refusing to swear an unconditional oath of allegiance to the British Crown. They feared this would force them to take arms up against the French or indigenous Mi'kmaq with whom they had good relations. Also, the Acadians' location made it a strategic location of contention between the British and French. The British viewed Acadian neutrality and their potential allegiance with the French as a security threat. Also, British officials pressured the Acadians to take an unconditional oath of allegiance, but many Acadians resisted, wanting to maintain their neutrality. This resistance was seen as a defiance and potential rebellion. In 1755, Governor Charles Lawrence and the Nova Scotia Council decided to deport the Acadians. They saw this as a means to eliminate the perceived threat and ensure control over the region. The British used deception to gather the Acadians. They called meetings in various communities, ostensibly to discuss matters of importance. Once gathered, the Acadians were informed of their impending deportation. Acadians' homes, lands, and livestock were confiscated. The British aimed to prevent the Acadians from having any means to return or to resist the deportation. Many families were separated during the deportation process, with men, women, and children often sent to different destinations. The Acadians were loaded onto ships and sent to various destinations, including the British American colonies, the Caribbean, France, and Britain. The conditions on the ships were often harsh, leading to significant suffering and death. Many Acadians were sent to British American colonies where they faced hostility and were often treated as unwelcomed outsiders. They were dispersed in small groups to prevent them from regrouping. Some Acadians were sent to France where they struggled to assimilate and faced economic hardships. A small number of Acadians were sent to the Caribbean where they faced extreme heat, disease, and difficult living conditions. Thousands of Acadians died during the deportation due to disease, malnutrition, and harsh conditions. The exact number of deaths is difficult to ascertain, but it represents a significant portion of the Acadian population. The deportation led to the scattering of the Acadian communities, disrupting their way of life and cultural continuity. In 1764, after the Treaty of Paris ended the 7 Years' War, some Acadians were allowed to return to the maritime provinces. However, they were not given their original lands and they had to resettle in less fertile area. In Louisiana, many Acadians were deported to American colonies, eventually lo- uh, migrated to Louisiana, where they became known as Cajuns. This migration significantly influenced the culture and history of Louisiana. Despite the hardships, the Acadians managed to preserve their language, religion, and cultural practices. Their resilience and evident evident in the vibrant Acadian and Cajun communities that still exist to this day. The Grand Dérangement is commemorated by Acadians and their descendants. Monuments, museums, and annual events honor the memory of those who suffered and celebrate the survival and resilience of the Acadian culture. The deportation of the Acadians is considered one of the darkest chapters in Canadian history. It is a poignant example of the devastating impact of colonial policies on Indigenous settlers and communities. In recent years, there have been efforts to acknowledge and reconcile with the painful history of Canada. In 2003, Queen Elizabeth II issued a royal proclamation acknowledging the historical wrongs done to the Acadian people. In 1775, the deportation of the Acadians is a story of resilience in the face of immense adversity. It has left a lasting impact on the cultural landscape of North America and remains a significant part of the Acadian heritage and identity.
Here is a brief biography of five important Acadian artists who have made significant contributions to the preservation and promotion of Acadian culture. Edith Butler, born July 27, 1942, in Packetville, New Brunswick, Canada. Edith Butler was born in a small village of Packetville in northeastern New Brunswick. She grew up in a musical family and was exposed to traditional Acadian music from an early age. She pursued higher education at the University of Moncton, where she obtained a bachelor's degree of arts in literature and a master's of arts degree in ethnography. Edith Butler is a celebrated singer and songwriter known for her vibrant performances and deep commitment to Acadian folk music. Her career began in the late 1960s, and she quickly gained recognition for her powerful voice and dynamic stage presence. Over her career, Butler has released numerous albums blending traditional Acadian songs with contemporary sounds. Some of her notable albums include L'Acadie Saint-Marie, which came out in 1973, and Edith Butler, that came out in 1976. Butler has received numerous awards, including the Order of Canada and the Governor General's Performing Art Awards. Her contributions to Canadian music have earned her a prominent place in the nation's cultural landscape. Edith Butler is a pioneer in bringing Acadian music to the broader audience. Her work has helped preserve Acadian traditions and inspire new generations of musicians. Antoine Meillet, who was born on May 10, 1929, in Butchtouche, New Brunswick, Canada. Antoine Maillet was born in Butchtouche, a village rich in Acadian culture and heritage. She pursued her education at the Collège Notre-Dame d'Acadie and later earned a doctorate in literature from l'Université Laval. Maya is a renowned author and playwright, best known for her works that celebrate Acadian culture and history. Her writing often features strong, vibrant characters and explores themes of identity and resilience. Her most famous novel, La Cigouane, published in 1971, is a poignant portrayal of an Acadian washerwoman's life. Another significant work is Pélagie la Charrette, published in 1979, which won the prestigious Prix Goncourt. Maya has received numerous accolades, including the Order of Canada and the Légion d'honneur from France. She is also a member of the Royal Society of Canada. Antoine Mayette's literary contributions have brought international attention to Acadian culture. Her works are considered classics of Canadian literature and continue to be celebrated from their depth and authenticity. Angèle Arsenault, born on October 1st, 1943, at the Abrahams village in Prince Edward Island. She passed away on February 25th, 2014. Angèle Arsenault was born in Abrahams village, a tight-knit Acadian community on Prince Edward Island. She grew up in a musical family and developed a passion for music and storytelling. She attended the University of Moncton, where she studied education and literature. Arsenault was a beloved singer-songwriter known for her witty, humorous songs and engaging performances. She began her music career in the 1970s and quickly gained following for her unique style. Some of her well-known albums include Libre, which came out in 1975, and Transparent, which came out in 1979. Her song Evangeline Acadien is particularly famous for its poignant depictions of Acadian history. Arsenault also had a successful career in television and radio, hosting various programs that highlighted Acadian culture and music. Angèle Arsenault's contributions to Acadian music and culture are celebrated across Canada. Her works has often lasted impact on Acadian communities and continues to inspire musicians and artists. Calix Duguay, born on July 15, 1939, in Saint Marie Saint Raphael, New Brunswick, Canada. Calix Duguay was born in the small village of Saint Marie Saint Raphael on Lamec Island. He grew up in a family that valued music and storytelling. He pursued studies in music and education, attended the University of Moncton. Duguay is a prolific composer, singer, and songwriter known for his contributions to Acadian music. His songs often reflect the Acadian experience and landscape. In addition to music, Duguay has written plays and musicals that celebrate Acadian history and culture. His works are performed widely and have been instrumental in promoting Acadians' arts. Duguay has received several awards, including the Order of Canada, and is recognized for his contribution to Acadian culture and Canadian music. Calix Duguay's work as a musician, writer, and composer has been central to the preservation and celebration of Acadian culture and heritage. His artistic contributions have enriched Acadian culture expression and inspired future generations. Finally, Zachary Richard, born on September 8, 1950, in Scott Louisiana, USA. Although born in Louisiana, Zachary Richards' work is deeply connected to his Acadian roots. He grew up immersed in the rich Cajun culture of Louisiana, which is a direct descendant of Canadian Acadian culture. He studied at the Tulane University, where he developed his musical talents. Richard is a renowned singer, songwriter, and poet whose music blends Cajun, Sidiko, and folk influences. He's known for his powerful lyrics and commitment to Acadian and Cajun cultures. Some of his notable albums include Migration, which came out in 1978, and Cap Enragé, which came out in 1996. His song Réveil is an anthem for Canadians, calling for cultural pride and unity. Beyond his music, Richard is an advocate for environmental and cultural preservations. He has been involved in various initiatives to protect Louisiana's wetlands and promote Acadian heritage. Zachary Richards' music and activism have made significant contributions to the preservation and promotion of Acadian and Cajun cultures. His work resonates with his audiences worldwide and continues to inspire cultural pride and awareness. These five artists have been played and are a significant role in preserving and promoting Acadian culture through their various forms of artistic expressions. Their legacies continue to influence and inspire the Acadian community and beyond to this day. The Acadian region, known for its rich cultural heritage and stunning natural landscapes, primarily encompasses parts of Canada's maritime provinces, which are Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and parts of Quebec, as well as the U.S. state of Maine. Here's a brief description of the Acadian region. In Nova Scotia, it is composed primarily of the Annapolis Valley and the southwest part of Nova Scotia. Annapolis Valley is known as the heartland of early Acadian settlement. The Annapolis Valley is a fertile area characterized by its agricultural lands, historical sites, and picturesque landscapes. The town of Grand Pré is particularly significant, being a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a symbol of Acadian heritage. The southwest part of Nova Scotia, including the regions like Clare and Argyll, have a strong Acadian presence, which with French-speaking communities maintaining their cultural traditions and language. In New Brunswick, the Acadian regions is composed primarily of the northeastern part of the province, as well as Madawaska. The northeastern part of New Brunswick is the area including Acadian Peninsula, is the home to many Acadian communities such as Caraquet, Tracadie-Sheila, and Chipagan. The region is known for its vibrant cultural life, including festivals, music, and art. While as the Madawaska is located in the northwestern part of New Brunswick, this region is another hub of Acadian culture. The town of Edmundston is a significant center for the Acadian community in the area. As for Prince Edward Island, the Acadian region is primarily composed of the Evangeline region. This part of the province is named after the heroine of Longfellow's poem Evangeline. This area on the west coast of the island has a concentrated Acadian population. Communities like Abraham Village and Wellington are key cultural centers. In Quebec, the Acadian region is considered as the Gaspé Peninsula, which is in the eastern part of the province, which has several Acadian communities, with Bonaventure being a notable town. The region is known for its scenic beauty with rugged coastlines and forested areas. St. John Valley in Maine, USA is the primary Acadian region in the US. Located in the northern part of the state, this area is significant with Acadian populations. Towns like Madawaska and Fort Kent are central to Acadian communities in Maine. The early settlements of the Acadian regions and history dates back to the early 16th century the early 1600s when French settlers established colonies in what is now Nova Scotia. They developed a distinct culture, blending French tradition with influences from the indigenous Mi'kmaq peoples. With the Grand Dérangement, the deportation of the Acadians from 1755 to 1764 saw the forced removal of Acadians by British. Many were deported to the American colonies, the Caribbean, France, Louisiana, where they became known as Cajuns. After the deportation, some Acadians returned to the maritime provinces, resettling in the areas where they could maintain their cultural identity. The resilience of the Acadian people is evident in their preservation of language, traditions, and a strong sense of community. Acadian French is a unique dialect spoken in the region. It has preserved many Old French terms and expressions that are no longer used in modern Standard French. Acadian music is vibrant and diverse, featuring traditional folk songs, fiddling, and contemporary styles. Instruments like the accordion and fiddle are central to Acadian music. The Acadian Festival in Caracat, New Brunswick, and the Festival Acadien de Clare in Nova Scotia are major cultural events celebrating Acadian heritage through music and dance, as well as community gatherings. The Acadian cuisine is a blend of French culinary traditions with local ingredients. Notable dishes include poutine râpé, a potato dumpling with pork filling, fricot, a hearty stew typically made with chicken or clams, and rapure or rapi pie, a dish made from grated potatoes and meat. Arcadian architecture features distinctive elements such as steeply pitched roofs and brightly colored houses. Many historic Acadian homes and churches can be found throughout the region, reflecting the architectural heritage. The Acadian region is known for its diverse landscapes, including coastal areas, forests, and agricultural lands. The Bay of Fundy, with its dramatic tides, is notable for the natural features of the region. National parks and protected areas such as Kushibukak National Park in New Brunswick and Kijibujik National Park in Nova Scotia preserve the natural beauty and biodiversity of the Acadian region. The University of Moncton in New Brunswick is a key institute for higher education and Acadian cultural studies. Institutes like le Musée Acadien in Moncton and the Acadian Village in Brunswick play crucial roles as well in preserving and promoting Acadian history and culture. Today, the Acadian region is a vibrant part of Canada's culture and mosaic. Acadians continue to celebrate their heritage through music, art, festivals, and community life. Efforts to preserve the French language and promote Acadian culture are ongoing with support from local communities and government initiatives. The Acadian region is a testament to the resilience and cultural richness of the Acadian people. Their history, traditions, and vibrant cultural expressions continue to shape the identity of this unique part of Canada. The estimation of the population of Acadian people can be challenging due to factors such as migration, cultural assimilation, and the spread of Acadian descendants across various regions. However, here's a brief description of possible population estimates and descriptions of the Acadian population in Canada and the United States. New Brunswick has the largest population of Acadians in Canada. The Acadian Peninsula in northeast New Brunswick, including areas like Caraquet, Tradi, Shella, and Chapipag, have a significant Acadian presence, as well as the Madawaska in northwestern New Brunswick, including Edmundston, has a high concentration of Acadians. The estimated population for Acadians in this region is 300,000 people, which is approximately 41% of the province's population. Nova Scotia is another key region of the Acadian population. Located in southwest Nova Scotia, the municipalities of Clare and Argyll are prominent Acadian regions, as well as in the Annapolis Valley, which includes Grand Prix and surrounding areas, have historical significance and notable Acadian population. There's approximately 75,000 Acadians in the areas, making up 8% of the province's population. Prince Edward Island has a smaller but significant Acadian community. This area of the west coast, which is Evangeline region, has a concentrated Acadian population. There's approximately 15,000 Acadians, or 10% of the island's population. Quebec also has a significant Acadian communities, primarily in the Gaspé Peninsula and Magdalen Islands. Towns like Bonaventure are known for their Acadian heritage. There's approximately 15 to 20,000 Acadians in the province. In the US, the Acadians can be found in two states mainly, Maine and Louisiana. In the state of Maine, particularly St. John Valley, has a significant Acadian population. Towns such as Madawaska and Fort Kent are central to the Acadian community. There are approximately 30 to 40,000 peoples of Acadian descent. In Louisiana, which is home to the Cajuns, who are descendants of the Acadians deported from Canada in the 18th century. Acadiana, the region of southwestern Louisiana, including cities of Lafayette and Puma, is known for its Cajun culture. There are approximately 900,000 to 1 million people who identify themselves as Cajun, reflecting their Acadian heritage. Combining these total estimates, the population of people of Acadian descent in Canada and of the United States is around 1.5 to 1.4 to 1.5 million. This includes approximately 405 to 410,000 in Canada and 930 to 1.4 million in the US. French is considered as the primary language of most Acadians, but Many in Canada are bilingual, speaking both French and English. Acadian French is a particular dialect of the language and is preserved by many archaic features of the French language. There is an ongoing effort to preserve and promote the French language among Acadian communities, supported by educational institutions and cultural organizations. Acadians maintain strong cultural identity reflecting their traditions, music, festivals, and community life. Events like the Acadian Festival in Caraquet and the Festival Acadien de Clare celebrate Acadian heritage and draw significant participation from the community. During the diaspora, many Acadiens have migrated to other parts of Canada and the United States as well as beyond. The Acadian diaspora has led to the spread of Acadian culture and traditions globally. There are many strong efforts to reconnect with Acadian heritage which are seen through the events like the Acadien World Congress, which brings together Acadiens from around the world. The Acadian population is characterized by its resilience, vibrant cultural identity, and significant contributions to the cultural fabric of Canada and the US. Despite historical challenges, the Acadian people continue to thrive and be celebrating their unique heritage. There are several documentaries about the Acadian people that provide very valuable insights into their history, culture, and contemporary life. There's a brief description of notable documentaries along with a discussion of their accuracy. The story of the Acadiens, made by Zachary Richard and came out in 1994. This documentary explores the history of the Acadiens from their origins in France to their settlement in North America, as well as their expulsion during the Grand Dérangement and their modern day communities in Canada and Louisiana. The documentary is generally accurate, providing a detailed and well researched account of Acadian history. It covers key events and figures relying on historical documents as well as expert interviews. It accurately depicts the cultural resilience of the Acadian people, highlighting their music, traditions, and community life. The inclusion of contemporary Acadian voices added authenticity to the documentary. The Acadien, made by Paul Leblanc and came out in 1998. This film traces the history of the Acadiens from their early settlement in Nova Scotia to their deportation and eventual resettlement in various parts of North America. The documentary is praised for its thorough research and accurate representation of historical events. It includes interviews with historians and archival footage. The film effectively captures the spirit and culture of Acadian people from the time and with a focus on their preservation and identity. Réveil, Waking Up French, made by Ben Levine and came out in 2003. This documentary examines the struggle to preserve the French language and culture among Franco Americans in New England, with a significant focus on Acadian heritage and identity. The documentary provides a well researched historical background connecting the experience of Franco Americans with their Acadian roots. It accurately portrays the efforts to preserve the French language and culture, highlighting the challenges faced by Acadians' descendants in maintaining their identity. Zachary Richard, Toujours Batailleur, which was made by Phil Como and was in theaters in 2016. This film allows sorry, this film follows, I should say, Acadian musician and activist Zachary Richard as he explores his heritage and the ongoing struggle to preserve the Acadian culture and language. The documentary offers a personal and historical exploration of Acadian culture grounded in Richard's own experiences and extensive research. It authentically represents Acadian culture, focusing on contemporary issues such as language preservation and cultural identity. Tintamarre on the Trail of Acadiens in North America, made by André Gladu and was in theaters in 2005. This documentary traces the journey of Acadian descendants across North America, from the Canadian Maritimes to Louisiana, showcasing their cultural impact and legacy. This film provides a comprehensive historical overview supported by expert interviews and historical documentation. It accurately reflects the diversity and richness of Acadian culture, emphasizing the connections between various Acadian communities across North America. Accurate documentaries on the Acadian rely on primarily sources such as historical documents, letters, and official records from the 17th and 18th century. It also includes interviews with historians, ethnographers, and cultural experts to ensure a well rounded and accurate portrayal of historical events and cultural practices. Documentaries that feature contemporary Acadian voices and community perspectives provide a more authentic representation of Acadian culture. Accurate documentaries approach Acadian history with sensitivity to the hardship endured, particularly during the Grand Dérangement, and celebrate the resilience and cultural achievements of the Acadian people. The use of archival footage and historical reenactments enhances the documentary's authenticity. Incorporating traditional Acadian music and art helps to convey the cultural richness and the continuity of the Acadian heritage. Overall, the documents discussed uh, in this video are generally accurate with their portrayal of Acadian history and culture. They provide valuable insights into the experiences and contributions of the Acadian people, while also highlighting contemporary issues related to cultural preservation and identity. Here's a brief list of 10 fictional Acadian and Cajun characters from literature, film, and television, reflecting the rich cultural heritage of these communities. Evangeline Bellefontaine, originating in the Evangeline, A Tale of Acadie, published in 1847 and written by Henry Wordsworth Longfellow. Evangeline is the central character in this epic poem, which tells the story of her search for her lost love, Gabrielle, following the expulsion of the Acadiens in the Grand Dérangement. She has become an iconic figure in Acadian culture. Her significance is that she represents the perseverance and resilience of the Acadian people. Gabrielle La Jeunesse, originated as well in the Evangeline, A Tale of Acadie, poem from 1847 by Henry Wordsworth Longfellow. Gabrielle is Evangeline's betrothed, separated from her during the deportation.
His character symbolizes the tragedy of the Acadian exile. He is significant as a symbol of the Acadian diaspora and the longing for lost love. Tijan, which is originated in the Acadian folklore. Tijan is a classic trickster character in Acadian folklore known for his cleverness and resourcefulness. He often outsmarts the most powerful opponents through wit rather than strength. He embodies the integrity and the resilience of the Acadian people. Tante Lulu, or Lulu Lani. It is part of the Cajun series by Sadra Hill. Tante Lulu is an eccentric and beloved Cajun healer with a strong personality known for her matchmaking and folk remedies. She appears in several of Sandra Hill's humorous romance novels set in Louisiana. She represents and reflects the vibrant, larger than life personalities often found in the Cajun culture. Remy Lebeau Gambit from the Marvel Comics. His first appearance was in Uncanny X issue 266, published in 1990. Rabbi Lebeau, better known as Gambit, is a Cajun mutant with the ability to charge objects with kinetic energy, making them explosive. He is a member of the X-Men and is known for his charm, wit, and skills as a thief. His representation and significance is as a modern representation of Cajun culture within popular media. Dave Robichaud from the Dave Robichaud series by James Lee Burke. Dave Robichaud is a Cajun detective and the protagonist of a series of crime novels set in Louisiana. He's a complex character deeply connected to his Cajun roots, grappling with the issues of justice, morality, and his past. He's significant in the fact that he provides a gritty, realistic portrayal of life in Cajun community. Marie Laveau originated in American Horror Story Caven in 2013. Though based on a real historical figure, Marie Laveau is fictionalized in the TV series American Horror Stories as a powerful voodoo queen in New Orleans. Her character is deeply tied to the mystical and spiritual aspects of Louisiana culture. Her significance to the Cajun culture is that she represents the mystique and supernatural elements associated with the Cajun and Creole folklore. Dr. John, Interview with the Vampire, published by Anne Rice in 1994. Dr. John is a fictionalized version of the legendary figure in New Orleans voodoo culture. In Anne Rice's novel and its film adaptation, he plays a minor but significant role in the portrayal of the New Orleans dark and mystical atmosphere. His significant his significance to the Cajun culture is that he contributes to the gothic and supernatural portrayals of Louisiana in literature and film. Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, originated in the Marvel Comics, and his first appearance is in the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 344, published in 1991. Cletus Cassidy, also known as Carnage, is a notorious Marvel Comics supervillain. Excuse me. Although not explicitly defined as Cajun, his character is often depicted with the traits and backgrounds tied to the South, reflecting elements of Cajun culture. He's an example of how Cajun or Southern elements influence broader characters and archetypes in pop culture. Finally, Alkid Hervé, The Southern Vampire Mysteries by Charlene Harris and its TV adaptation True Blood is the origins of this character. Alcid is a werewolf with deep ties to the supernatural communities in Louisiana. He's portrayed as a loyal, strong, and deeply connected to his family and heritage. His character is significant to the Cajun culture as it ties into the larger tapestry of Louisiana mystical and mysterious landscape. These characters highlight the rich cultural backdrop of the Acadian and Cajun communities, reflecting themes of resilience, mysteries, and vibrant traditions.